All right, people, welcome back to the Kaiba Show. And this week, I was finally able to catch up on the docuseries on Netflix called Men, the Fight for America, which I believe dropped on February 17th. And it was only right the last week of Black History Month that I decided to watch this and catch up on all 6 episodes. And that's what we're going to be talking about this week. So let's get it.
Welcome to the Kaiba Show.
All right, people. So that's right. There's a new hit docuseries on Netflix called Men, the Fight for America. And for those of you that are not familiar with the 14th Amendment, just let me give you a brief definition of it. The 14th Amendment is listed as all persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law. This is key in this docuseries that they talk about, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction, the equal protection of laws. So with that being said, we have to back up and go all the way back to the 1800s, basically during slavery. And we're going to deal with Frederick Douglass. So the first 2, I think even 3 episodes deal with slavery, the Jim Crow era, and then civil rights. So basically with Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, they tried to abolish slavery. And after it was done with the Emancipation Proclamation, we still have people that are free, but they're still slaves, if that makes sense to you. So they're not able to get good paying jobs. They basically were under contract with white men, and the South thought that they were cute by saying, hey, listen, they're getting paid. So technically they're not slaves, but they're getting paid in pennies, people. So the South was still trying to keep black people down. And then that's when the 14th Amendment came out. And I think it was ratified in 1868, if I remember correctly. But basically with this docuseries, and it's very, very important that you guys watch this because you need to know your 14th Amendment right. Everybody knows the first and the second, but you truly do need to know your 14th Amendment right. And basically, nobody that was of colored descent had their due process and was able to truly be free in this country, hence the Jim Crow era. And then we had segregation, which led up to Martin Luther King in the civil rights movement. And even King said 100 years later, we are still not free. So it was almost like the South, and even just not the South, other white people around the nation did not want to recognize the 14th Amendment when it came to people of color. Just not black people, even our Mexican brothers and sisters, and our Chinese brothers and sisters, because I learned through this docuseries that even our Chinese immigrants that came over and helped build the West, with the railroad system, they were getting persecuted too, and nobody had their due process. This is key, people. That 14th Amendment was stated that due process, and black people never got that for, like I said, 100 years. So this show deals with that. It deals with also marriage. So even though you might not agree with the LGBTQ movement, you still have to understand that at the end of the day, these people are human and they still have rights as well. And they have to be treated that way as human beings and not second class citizens. And it also dealt with the feminist movement. Once again, the whole theme of this docuseries is people being treated as second-class citizens that are non-white. So if you was a white man, especially an elder white man, old white man writing these laws or whatever, you were right in the eyes of, the United States. Everybody else got treated like second-class citizens. So this talks about the feminist movement in this docuseries with the 14th Amendments, with women trying to get their equal pay and want to be able to work. And, I don't need a man to define me as a woman. I don't need to be married to a man to be able to reap the same benefits. So that was an eye opener. I'm familiar with the feminist movement, but they talked about stuff that I was even familiar with. Like I said, it talks about marriage. So with the marriage episode, it talks about gay marriage and also talks about how it was illegal for white people and black people to get married. So there was even a movie that was made a couple of years ago. I think their last name were Loving, so it was Virginia versus Loving. They talk about that. It was turned into a movie. I forget the actor and actress that played in it, but I was familiar with that story in the docuseries because of that movie. And they also talk about immigration. That was the last episode, episode 6. They talk about how immigrants still have their right and they still have their right to due process under the law, which they're always denied, especially with the Trump administration with ICE. There was a lot of stuff that they talked about in this docuseries and how he's trying to get rid of, I think it was called DACA, the Dream program, where if you're born here, because even under the 14th Amendment, it says that if you are born here on United States soil, you are a citizen and you get to have all those promises in the Constitution, in the 14th Amendment. And a lot of times with the immigrants that come here, that is not so, and they get denied those, and the deportation rate was like, it skyrocketed from 96 with Clinton passing his little bill. And then you just see the rise in deportation from Clinton to Bush to even, unfortunately, Obama and the Trump administration. So this docuseries is definitely well worth watching, especially during Black History Month. It's an eye opener to a lot of things, because I learned that there were some massacres that happened with the Mexicans, our Mexican brothers and sisters, and even our Chinese brothers and sisters in this country. They also got lynched and killed for no reason during the Reconstruction period. So you know that 1865 to like the early 1900s, racist white people just went rampant in this country, and if you wasn't white, you wasn't right. So 14th Amendment is here. People should know it, and you should know your rights and always fight for your rights. And yeah, man, check this docuseries out, "Men, the Fight for America" on Netflix. Let me know what you guys thought. So on a scale of 1 to 10, on the Kaiba scale, 1 to 10, I'm gonna give you this docuseries a solid 8.5. It was enjoyable. I enjoyed all 6 episodes, and like I said, it was an eye opener. So you guys know what to do. Subscribe, hit the bell button so you get notified every time I upload a video. And please leave a comment at the bottom. Let me know what you thought of this docuseries and hit the like button. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.